Welcome everyone to the Best of Markham podcast, brought to you by me, Igor Klibanov from FitnessSolutionsPlus.ca. Here with me today is Master Kevin Cheng from Zion Taekwondo. Kevin, thank you so much for being here. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Hello, yes, it's an honor to be here. Thank you for having me. So my name is Kevin Cheng. I am a fifth degree black belt, and I have practiced Taekwondo for 32 years, and I've been teaching Taekwondo for 20 years in Markham. I'm also a 10 times national champion in Taekwondo Pumse, part of Team Canada, and also former national team coach as well. So just like you said, I'm the owner and founder of Zion Taekwondo. We have been operating for 2 years now. And before that, I used to co-own Muhan Taekwondo, which is also in Markham and Pickering as well.
Wow, so long background in Taekwondo and nobody wants to run into you in a dark alley.
No, no, no. Yeah, I'm a
Uh,
nice guy.
I know. Now, for people who are not familiar with Taekwondo or martial arts, what is Pumse?
Pumse is form. So that's my specialty. I specialize in forms. And then we go to competitions. They judge based on your accuracy, speed and power, your rhythm, and also how you express the energy of the whole Pumse. Kind of like kata for karate.
Yeah, exactly. For those of you who don't know what Pumse or Kata is, if you've never done martial arts before, I compare it to like the martial arts version of gymnastics floor exercises. There is a set series of moves that are performed one after the other, and you're evaluated based on all the criteria that Kevin just mentioned. Would you say that's pretty accurate?
Yeah, that's correct. And now we also have freestyle Pumse. So it's kind of like same as figure skating. You get to choose your own music and own routine, but also you have to do their set criteria as well.
Yeah, exactly. I used to compete back in martial arts maybe like 20 years ago. And but I was in open competitions. And even back then you heard very traditional styles, but you also saw some acrobatic kind of martial arts presentations like they just called them forms because it was multi-style. Um, Now, how'd you get to be a Taekwondo instructor and dojo owner?
So usually most Taekwondo instructors are black belts.
Yeah.
Okay. And then usually how most people start is maybe your master recruit you to start teaching as a teenager. And then eventually you get to a certain belt rank, and then can open your school. Usually you have to open your school and register through Taekwondo Ontario. So they make sure you are a corporate business and you have mass and you have the coaching licenses to be part of their organization. So that's how you can open a dojang in Ontario.
Okay, very interesting. And what do you like most about it?
Um, what I like about it is I get to teach kids. They're a lot of fun. I get to interact with them. And most of the kids who come to Taekwondo, they love being here, right? Or else the parents will not sign them up, or very quickly they won't even push them to come to Taekwondo. So they get to do what they love, and we have fun. But also at the same time, we get to learn about discipline, uh, perseverance, respect, right? All good the good values about how to grow your character.
Yeah. I remember when I was in martial arts, and I did it for 12 years. A lot of the marketing for it, for the flyers, was things like discipline and, ironically, better grades, which makes sense. If you're disciplined in Taekwondo, you could be disciplined with your schoolwork. Now, that's the Taekwondo side of things. What do you like most about entrepreneurship?
Uh, yeah, a lot. So what I like about entrepreneurship is I get to be my own boss, make my own decision that makes sense to me. And I love problem solving because as an entrepreneur, you always encounter different problem, or maybe it's the same problem if you still haven't solved it, right? Also, you get to grow as a person because your business can only grow if you yourself are growing as well. And I love to create. That means like maybe create new program or maybe a different way of doing business, but also to provide for my employees as well, right? It's a really good fulfilling have it it's a good feeling to provide for my employees. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all the same stuff that I love about entrepreneurship. When I first started, I wanted to work the hours that I wanted to work, not the hours that the gym gave me, or that the clients wanted to work. In other words, if a client comes to me and it's hours they don't work, well, I say, I'm sorry, I don't do those hours, but one of my staff members does. Um, And yeah, testing out new strategies. At any given time, I have between 3 to 5 marketing experiments running. Most of them are failures, but 1 in 25 is successful. And the successes help pay for the failures, and there's growth from the successes, but also there's learning from the failures. You just figure out why didn't it work? Do you do the same thing, just adjust it, or do you that just a completely non-starter and just move on to the next one? That to me is one of the most interesting parts of entrepreneurship. Um, well, you mentioned problem solving is one of the things that's interesting to you. When any business first starts, Taekwondo studio doesn't matter what kind of business, the always the biggest challenge is where do I get clients? In your case, students. So what do you do for marketing? How do you find new students?
Yes, so most of our student comes from three sources. One is member referral. So sometimes in the months that are low season for us, we try to incentivize our members to refer us members. Another one is Google.
Mhm.
Uh, so putting money in Google Ads. And the last one is actually a Chinese social media called Xiaohongshu. Have you heard of it?
No, I've heard of WeChat, but not that one.
Yes, so actually that one's very popular. It's almost like Instagram but on steroids.
Okay.
So because our school is in Central Markham,
Yeah.
so most of our clients are mostly Chinese.
hmm Now, you said the first strategy is incentivizing referrals. What kinds of incentives have you found to be effective?
So usually we give them maybe a Amazon $50 gift card, right, for you. And maybe we also give the new member, their friends, $50 off from the registration fee as well.
Interesting. When I was at I always love speaking to other entrepreneurs because my own best strategies in my personal training business came from outside of personal training. And so with the martial arts club that I used to be at, what they would do to incentivize referrals is they would have movie nights. In other words, you come to the club and you bring a friend, a sibling, etc., and you watch a movie, maybe related to martial arts, maybe not related to martial arts, maybe just a fun Disney movie or Pixar. Um, and of course, the students bring friends, and sometimes you talk to the instructors talk to the parents of the friends who are not members, and a lot of them become students that way. And they would do that maybe 3 or 4 times per year. And I would say, I mean, again, this is like 20 years ago, but I would say maybe 50% of their students at the time came from just movie nights, just fun little movie nights like that. So very, very interesting.
Yeah, it still works. Schools are still running movie nights. What else? Maybe sleepover or
Yeah.
pizza party, bring a buddy event. So yeah, we many schools do that as well.
Yeah, yeah, awesome. Good to know. What are you working on right now that's exciting to you?
Right now, we just currently hire another staff. So now we're almost getting to a full team. So what's exciting is now I'm trying to make these policy and standards and manual so that our staff can follow these procedures. So even though maybe myself am not there, they can still run a high quality classes and also services just by following the policy and manual.
Awesome. How many staff do you have right now?
Right now, we only have two. We're trying to keep our school very lean.
Yeah.
In my previous business, we have over 30 staff.
Oh,
But I think the more staff you have, it's harder to manage.
yeah.
So right now, I'm just trying the opposite method. Try to have as least staff as possible and see how we can, let's see what happens.
Yeah, yeah, I hear ya. More people, more headaches, but sometimes also more people, more money. So yeah, exactly. You have the experience with larger schools, and you saw, I don't like that. There's too much commotion going on. So it's interesting to see what a lean operation will look like. Um, at some point, what I heard is that the bigger business grows, the more, I guess, intermediary staff they need. In other words, not just the instructors and you. There needs to be for every 10 instructors, there need to be like a lead instructor and then you. Kind of like a corporate structure, but in a Taekwondo studio, in a dojo. Um, and what I guess that's one obstacle. But besides that, what obstacles have you encountered in your time both as a Taekwondo instructor and an entrepreneur?
I think sometimes when you are running a business or even having staff to teach for you, is you might feel guilty not teaching and letting your staff teach. However, if I teach all the classes, then my staff don't get to grow as an instructor.
Yeah.
Also, sometimes when you are in the dojang, right, the school, then sometimes the staff might feel comfortable, right? But then if I'm out of the dojang, then they actually have to like step it up and able to problem solve themselves. So sometimes I feel guilty not teaching the class and trying to let them grow, or sometimes not being there, but also let them grow to manage the school as well.
Interesting. So there's growth happening regardless of whether you're there or you're not there.
Yes, yeah, I think I trying to find a balance between the two. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're there, they kind of grow as instructors. If you're not there, they kind of grow as managers or directors, kind of like that. So it's they get to develop a little bit of entrepreneurial skill while not necessarily having to be responsible for the marketing, which really is what makes the business grow.
Yeah, growing, I think the business has to grow, right? There's if you don't grow as a business, you're only going down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Do you have a certain goal of how many students you want to have eventually?
I used to think about like student number. Right now, our school is very small in terms of space. I think we can host maybe about 160 to 200. But in my previous school, we have over 700. So I'm trying to have less student so that I can focus on the quality.
Yeah.
But at the same time, how can I feed my instructor and give them a proper salary when you have little student, right?
Yeah.
So that is one of the obstacle as well.
Yeah, it's always interesting to me to listen to other business models. And I'm sure you've done this already, but in my school, like again 20 years ago, um, what they did was they had a competition team. So you pay your base membership, but on top of that, if you want to be part of the team, A, you have to qualify, but B, in addition to like being like qualified to be on the team, you also have to pay a higher amount. Um, and of course, there's fees for tournaments, there's private lessons. So there's lots of opportunities to add in revenue without necessarily adding in more students, offering other services, maybe massage, maybe chiropractic, maybe personal training. So there's lots of avenues to add in more revenue without necessarily adding in more students. Um, about 15 years ago, I read a great book on marketing. The author's name is Jay Abraham, and the book title was How to Get Everything You Want Out of All You've Got. And it was a good book in terms of big picture business. He said, what I really got out of that book, there are three ways to grow a business. One, get more customers or clients or students. Two, get them to come in more frequently. And three, get them to spend more money with you. Now, in a lot of martial arts clubs, the frequency doesn't matter because they pay this like a monthly fee, whether they come once or they come 7 times a week, so it doesn't matter. So that doesn't apply in your case. However, getting to spend more money with you, there's a bunch of different ways you can do that. You can either raise your prices, or you can get the same student to take private classes, join a competition team, if you do start offering additional services like massage, chiropractic, acupuncture, personal training, they can spend more money on that side of things. So one person, but they spend more money with your business. They're probably going to go to a chiropractor anyway, or their massage therapist or personal trainer. They might as well do it in somebody who's affiliated with your club. Um, so that's a very underrated way to grow a business, just to get the same customers spending more money with you.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the direction we're heading to. Especially my staff, they're very passionate about competition.
Yes.
So it's just very natural for the school to grow that way. So
Yeah.
we have a huge competition team, even though our school is small in number.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes you perform better at competitions when you are small in number because there is a better instructor to student ratio.
Yeah. Or sometimes like you want to grow a certain way, but if your staff doesn't have the drive, right, for that way, it
Yeah,
still won't grow. So
yeah,
I rather not push it, but kind of, okay, you know what? I will honor your passion. So
yes,
now we grow this way. So it wasn't in my original business plan,
yeah,
but because of my staff, now I'm growing that direction.
yeah, yeah. Let it grow organically. If you grow in a direction that you and your staff are passionate about, it's more fun. It doesn't feel forced.
Yeah, and she loves to come to work. She enjoys, and then we can grow at the same time.
Awesome, awesome. What do you do in your free time?
In my free time, I would like to say I spend my time with my young ones. So I have two kids. I have one 3 year old and one 1 year old. Uh, so right now they love to hang out with me. They love to tell me everything. So I try to spend as much time as I can with them until they're getting older and don't want to hang out with me anymore.
Uh,
But then, my wife would say I would like to work more in my free time. So I guess, sometime in free time, I just watch more videos about entrepreneurship, even Taekwondo to do more research.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. Either kids or just my business.
Yeah, yeah. I don't have kids, but a lot of it is into my business. Yeah. What kind of videos do you like to watch about entrepreneurship?
There's one called Upflip. Have you heard
Upflip.
of it? Yeah, Upflip. So they interview lots of different business and
Yeah.
their franchise models. So we get to see, how they operate and what is the profit and even cost relating to it. Uh, there's another one, obviously Alex Homorsey,
Yeah.
right, about entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So these are the two, but I really like Upflip because you get to really see different industry of business, and some of them are very simple but very profitable, but nobody think thought about it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's why it's so interesting to me to speak to other business owners, especially ones that are very, very profitable, and to see what are they doing. I have a friend, he runs a very, very boring business. It's printing. Um, he works maybe 2 or 3 hours a day, but it's a $2 to $3 million per year business, and he's basically a one-man operation. I asked him, how in the world did you do this? He says it's very simple. My cost to print each page is 1 cent, but of course I sell it for between 20 and 50 cents per page. So the markup is huge. To maintain the machines is very cheap. So his overhead is extremely low. But he's got one marketing strategy and that's it. That marketing strategy is this. He goes door to door to businesses that he knows are already printing or spending money on printing. He never talks to the executive, he talks to the receptionist. And he tells her, whatever you're spending on printing, I can beat that price by 10 or 15%. And that's it. 30-second pitch. He leaves his business card, he leaves, and he goes to the next place. That's it. That's all he does. That's what he did 15 years ago when he was just starting out. And he's never had to market since. $2 to $3 million per year off of that business. No web presence. His website looks like it was designed by a 14-year-old in 1998. No social media presence. That's all he does. And that's all he needs to do. Like very, very simple business model.
Yeah,
Or
that's
it's incredible to me. I love the simplicity of it. Or I volunteer for the city of Markham as a small business growth mentor. And so one of my former mentees, I think about 3 or 4 years ago, he was a videographer, and me and my co-mentor asked him, "What do you do for marketing?" And he says, or sorry, first we asked him, "What do you need help with?" He says, "Social media." And we asked him, "All right, that's fine. We can probably help with that. But what do you currently do for marketing? How are you bringing in new clients?" He says walk-ins. I go to businesses door to door and I sell my videography services. And we ask him, okay, so if you were to walk into 10 businesses, how many would say yes to videography? He says six out of 10. We said 6 out of 10? If you're doing 6 out of 10, why do you want to do social media? Um, he says leverage. I mean, it takes me, I don't know, a couple hours to create a post, to edit, etc., to create a post. But it doesn't take me any more time if I have 1 million followers than if I have 1,000 followers. We explained to him, well, yes, but how many clients are you currently getting from social media? And he had about 5,000 followers. He says zero. Okay, if you go from 5,000 to 50,000, 10 times zero is still zero. But if you go from 10 knocking on 10 doors to knocking on 100 doors, 6 times 10 is 60. That's the 10x growth. So we explained to him, you can do one of two things. You either love videography more than you love money, in which case you are the videographer and you hire somebody to do the door knocking for you. Or two, you love money more than you love videography. So in that case, you hire somebody to do videography and you do the door knocking. But in any case, sometimes all it takes is just one very, very simple strategy. Um, and it's better if you have more than one, but but even one is enough. Like in my case, my very first one that I discovered 12, 13 years ago was just public speaking. Public speaking worked fantastic for me. Then I also discovered email marketing. Email marketing works great for me. Um, then I started writing books. I've published 18 books, and those are bringing in business. And finally, what I've added in maybe about 3 years ago was door-to-door sales. I never thought about door-to-door sales. It's old school, etc. But right now, it's my best business driver. And none of those came from personal training. If I was to do what other personal trainers do, I'd be doing referrals and I would be doing social media. But when you ask other personal trainers, do you have a predictable system of generating referrals? They say no. So that's not a strategy, that's hope. Okay, it's not proactive, it's not predictable. When you ask them about social media, you ask how many clients do you get from social media? They might say somewhere between 0 and 1 per year. It's a very bad ratio. In other words, they have no marketing system. And that's why I don't like to market like other personal trainers. My best ideas came from like all these ideas, public speaking, email marketing, all that stuff that came from outside of personal training. And so that's why I also, like you, like to listen to the business models of other people and see what can I borrow.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think, yeah, for me, something new will be the Xiaohongshu, the Chinese social media.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It works fantastic for you. Fantastic. And since this is, after all, a Best of Markham podcast, what's your favorite business in Markham besides your own?
Yeah, it's actually there's a lot of good business in Markham that I know. But one stick out to me is they're called Prime Shine. So they're a mobile auto detailing company. So I remember a few years ago, there was a teenager, I think maybe around 16 or 18 years old, and he just go door to door handing out his business card. And then I just see him getting rejected from door to door. But I took his card and then I call him in, and then it was really good service and qualities. He just came with his car, brought all his tool, and then detailed my car for the whole day. So that was good. And then later on, I found another place on like, Facebook group for a cheaper price, but the quality was terrible.
Yeah.
So that's why went back and stick with him. Yeah, because I also like to support young entrepreneurs,
Oh yeah.
right? I think it's probably the best thing is entrepreneur, I think. Yeah.
I agree. I'm in the same boat as you. I've been an entrepreneur for 15 years, but you definitely have to give credit to somebody who is a teenager and is going door to door and not afraid to get rejected many times.
Yeah, if he's used to this, right, he's gonna be very successful when he's older.
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, Kevin, thank you so much for doing this podcast. How can our viewers and listeners get in touch with you?
Yes, so you can go to our website on www.ziontkd.ca. So that's ZIONTKD.ca. Or you can Google us and also find us on Instagram and Facebook, YouTube as well.
That's fantastic. And I'll have all those details in the show notes as well. Once again, Kevin, thank you so much. I really appreciate this.
Yeah, thank you.